Hi, welcome to another training video. Today's video was inspired again by Mike Girvan from ExcelIsFun, and one of the comments that came on his video he just put out the other day, and here's a solution to what the user was asking for. So without any further ado, here for example is something that we would have done previously using index and match on this array here. So for example, if we wanted to find the cost or the rate that we would charge for our FitFit, so these are the costs for FitFit. Now let's imagine this was a retail sale. We'd be expecting 118. So 118 is the cross tabulation of FitFit and retail. Now another way of thinking about this is it is the intersection between the FitFit data and the retail data. Now each of these could be a named range, and if I then refer to the named ranges in a drop down menu here, so if I said FitFit in there and retail in there, boom, it gives me the 11880. Now the way I've done this is I've simply, and this is what Mike showed me today, I've simply used the formula to show the intersection between two ranges, and all we do is we put a space between the two ranges. Now, because I've referred to my ranges as that cell, and clearly they don't have any intersection, that's not quite what I wanted to do. I wanted to refer to where this cell points to. So this cell points to the named range, which is that lot over there, and for that to work I use indirect. So indirect means the thing that's in the cell, not the cell itself. So clearly there is no intersection between those two cells. They are that cell and that cell. But this cell's content FitFit is that range there, and this cell's content retail is that range there, and that's where they intersect, and so this is what it's given me as the answer. So without any further ado, let's have a look and see how we build that. So I've brought this file up, which is example, and hopefully it's not going to crash on me again like it did before. And I click on the name manager. All I have here at the moment is rates. So rates is in fact the whole table. So if I go up here, click inside the table, I'll see that my table is called rates. So I'm going to get the machine to automatically create names for these ranges, and all I do is I select everything. I go to my formulas ribbon and I say create from selection using the top row and the left column, and I click OK. Now just down here, what I'm going to do is if I select those two and I just color code them first of all, and I'll now color code that one there as well, and this is just simply to tell me that those are the cells that are going to have stuff in them. Now this is going to be the rate, this is going to be the quantity, and this will give me my total. So this is the total price that I'm going to charge the customer. And my rate is going to work out the item and the type of customer. The quantity I'll type in manually, and the total will be a calculated value. So the total will be worked out based on the rate multiplied by the quantity. Now at the moment it's coming up with 0. And actually, if this gets filled in and has an error, this will come up with an error as well. So I will also wrap this in an if error. So IFE, tab to accept the if error. And I'm just going to say if there is an error, then show me nothing. So if there's an error, it's just going to come up with nothing in there at all. Now in this cell here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in fact, first of all, I'll show you that because that is all the names that have been created. Now these names are exactly the same as these names here, and if you want to do this yourself, just make sure you don't have any spaces in the names here, because if you do have any spaces within the names, what will happen is the name manager, when it names them, it'll put an underscore, so they won't then match these things here when you do the data validation. So do just be careful of having spaces in here. Right, this cell here, I want to put data validation on. So I'm going to say data validation. I'm going to allow a list, and my list is those items there. The cell below, again, data validation, I'm going to allow a list, and this time it's those headers there. So from here I could choose fit, and from here I could choose retail. And now what I want to do in here is I want to say this equals that one, and now I put a space in here and that one, and I close my brackets. Now at the moment it's saying null. Now what that's saying null is because there is no intersection between that cell and that cell. So I need to change this slightly because I don't want it to be those two cells. What I actually want it to be is the content of those cells. So I'm going to say the indirect of C13. And if I come over here, it's also the indirect of C14. And at the end there, I shall close the bracket. And now it tells me the content of the range that is the named range inside that cell, which is those ones there. And here it's retail, and it's the named range retail, which is that one there. And the intersection between the two is 118.80. Now what I need to do here is I need to pick up the formatting from there. And I'll pick up the formatting from there because it's not got the color on it. And I'll simply use the format painter to paint the formatting on there. And then I'll color it in again. Okay, if I give it a quantity, like say 5, as soon as I press enter, it's now going to work out the total. So I'll pick up the formatting from there and paste that across as well. And now this is dynamic, so I can change it. I can make a global fire and preferred, and this will now update to match. So global fire, preferred 9180, and of course the multiplier there. This is basically a way of using index and match without saying index and match. And all you do is use the indirect of a range and then put a space in there, which gives you the intersection between that and another indirect of a range. Now the only reason I'd use the indirect is because I've got drop-down menus here created using named ranges. Okay, I hope that's been useful, and thank you for listening.